The human delegation shifted nervously as the towering Zarthian ambassador entered the meeting chamber. The 7-foot-tall alien woman moved with surprising grace despite her powerful build. Her violet skin glowed under the artificial lights, and her 4 amber eyes scanned the room with sharp intelligence. Commander Lisa Hayes straightened her uniform and stepped forward. This was her first diplomatic mission representing Earth, and she felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The fate of human and Zarthian relations rested on this meeting. The alien ambassador Kalara bowed slightly. Her translator device hummed before projecting her deep voice into English. My people offer trade alliance with humans. We exchange technology and resources. But first I claim prize as is Zarthian custom. The other human representatives exchanged confused glances. Only Commander Hayes maintained her composure. What prize do you seek? She asked, keeping her voice steady. Kalara pointed directly. At her you. The room erupted in protests. Commander Hayes raised her hand for silence. Her heart raced, but her military training kept her face neutral. Why me? Because you lead these others. You show strength. Your species intrigues me. Kalara explained. I study you for 1 human month, then decide if alliance benefits Zarthians. This is non-negotiable. Admiral Beth Morgan pulled Hayes aside. This is ridiculous. We cannot agree to this. Hayes considered their options. The Zarthian fleet orbiting Earth had technology centuries beyond human capabilities. Their weapons could wipe out major cities in seconds, yet they offered peace and trade instead of conquest. I accept, she said loudly, silencing the room. But I have conditions. The alien woman tilted, her head, her expression unreadable. Name them. I remain armed at all times. I have daily communication with Earth, and I return unharmed after exactly 30 days, regardless of your decision. Kalara smiled, revealing sharp teeth. Agreed. Commander Hayes, the prize has wisdom. Your weapons pose no threat to me, but you may keep them for comfort. Your communications will be permitted, and your safe return is guaranteed by Zarthian honor. The delegation erupted again, this time directed at Hayes herself. She stood firm. If this alliance works, Earth gains protection and technology beyond our dreams. If we refuse, we risk becoming enemies with a vastly superior force. Admiral Morgan frowned deeply. You realize this could be a trap? Hayes nodded, but it could also be the most important diplomatic mission in human history. I volunteer. I accept the risks. The next 3 days passed in a blur of preparations. Hayes was given emergency training, diplomatic protocols, and a modified service weapon. Her family was notified, though details were kept vague. Her younger sister Penny cried during their video call, promising to take care of Hayes' cat, Starbuck, on the day of departure. Hayes stood on the roof of United Earth headquarters, wearing her dress uniform. A crowd had gathered below to witness this historic moment. The massive Zarthian shuttle descended from the clouds. Its purple metal hull shimmered as it landed gently on the landing pad. Kalara emerged alone, bowing to the human officials. Are you prepared? Commander Hayes stepped forward. I am. The alien gestured toward the ship. Then let us depart. Inside the shuttle. Hayes was surprised by the comfort. The seats adjusted automatically to her human form. The air felt clean and carried a faint floral scent. The shuttle lifted with barely a tremor, unlike the violent thrust of human rockets. Through the window, Hayes watched Earth grow smaller. She had been to space before, served on the lunar base even, but never had she traveled beyond Earth's orbit. Now she was heading to the massive Zarthian mothership that had appeared in orbit 2 weeks ago. Kalara observed her silence. You feel sadness. Not sadness exactly, Hayes replied. More like perspective. Earth looks so fragile from here. The alien nodded. All homeworlds do. The first journey beyond is always significant. The shuttle docked with the mothership with a gentle hiss of equalizing pressure. Hayes followed Kalara through curved corridors. The architecture was organic, rounded, and flowing rather than angular like human designs. Other Zarthians they passed stared openly at Hayes. Some made gestures she could not interpret. These are your quarters, Kalara announced, stopping before a door that slid open silently. They have been adapted for human needs. You will find food, water, comfort facilities, everything required. Hayes stepped inside expecting a cell. Instead, she found a spacious apartment with views of Earth through a large window. There were comfortable furnishings, books and even art on the walls. A terminal glowed softly on a desk. You may communicate with your people once daily. Kalara explained, and I will visit to begin our cultural exchange. Your comfort is important to successful diplomacy. Hayes placed her small bag of personal items on a table. When do we start? Kalara tilted her head. Tomorrow. You require rest after transition. Your species adapts slowly to change, left alone. Hayes explored her new home. The bathroom facilities were strange but functional. The bed molded to her body when she tested it. The food dispenser offered items that resembled Earth cuisine, though the flavors were slightly different. She activated the communication terminal connecting to Earth Command. Admiral Morgan appeared, on screen looking relieved. Hayes, is everything all right? Are you safe? Yes. Hayes replied honestly. It's not what I expected. Am being treated as an honored guest. Not a prisoner. Be careful, Morgan warned. This could be manipulation. Stay alert. Remember your training, trust nothing. Hayes nodded, but after the call ended, she gazed out at the stars. She had trained her entire life for space exploration, dreamed of meeting alien civilizations. Now she was living that dream despite the strange circumstances as she prepared for sleep. She wondered what Kalara truly wanted from her. The alien woman seemed genuinely curious about humans, not hostile. Yet there was something in those 4 amber eyes that suggested deeper motives. Hayes would need all her diplomatic skills to uncover the truth and perhaps save humanity in the process. Hayes woke to soft lights gradually brightening in her quarters. She checked her watch, synchronizing it with the ship cycle. Kalara had explained that Zarthians used a 30-hour day divided into periods of activity and rest. Human circadian rhythms would need time to adjust. A chime sounded and the door slid open. Kalara stood there wearing what appeared to be a formal uniform with symbols Hayes did not recognize. Good waking, Commander. Are you prepared to begin? Hayes had already dressed in her own uniform. Yes, I am. They walked through the ship, Kalara explaining various sections. Other Zarthians nodded respectfully as they passed. Hayes noticed all crew members appeared to be female, though with varying heights and skin tones from pale blue to deep violet. Where are the male Zarthians? Hayes asked. Kalara made a sound the translator did not interpret. Males remain on home colonies. They are valued for their contributions to reproduction and arts, but lack physical strength and strategic thinking for space exploration and diplomacy. Hayes kept her expression neutral. So your society is matriarchal, Kalara nodded. Is this not logical? The females of most species are naturally superior. Hayes decided not to argue Earth history and gender. Politics would take too long to explain. Human society is different, she said simply. They entered a large chamber with screens showing Earth from various angles. This is our observation center, Kalara explained. We have been studying your world for many cycles. Hayes felt a chill. How long exactly? 60 of your years, Kalara replied. That long? Hayes tried to hide her shock. Why did you wait until now to make contact? Kalara gestured to one screen showing footage of human warfare. Your species was too violent, too fractured. We waited until your global conflicts lessened, until you achieved basic unity. Only then could meaningful exchange begin. The screen showed human history, nuclear tests, wars, but also achievements, space exploration, medical, breakthroughs, cooperation. Hayes realized the Zarthians had been watching, judging, waiting for humanity to prove itself worthy. What changed your mind? Kalara asked. The Great Climate Coalition, Hayes said, remembering. When nations finally united to address global warming, Kalara nodded. The moment your kind chose collective survival over individual interests. Very significant. They continued the tour, visiting engineering sections. Kalara explained Zarthian technology in simplified terms. The ship was powered By controlled fusion more advanced than Earth prototypes. Their computers used quantum principles. Their medicine could regrow. Limbs cure most diseases. Extend lifespan threefold. Later they ate together in Kalara's private dining area. The food looked similar to Hayes' usual meals but tasted subtly different. "Tell me about yourself," Kalara said. It was the first personal question she had asked. Hayes considered what to share. "I was born in Chicago. Joined the Space Forces at 18, served on the lunar base for 5 years before diplomatic assignment. My parents were both scientists. My father studied physics. My mother marine biology." Kalara seemed genuinely interested. "And no mate. No offspring. Not yet." Hayes replied, "My career came first. The right person never appeared." The alien nodded approvingly. "Dedication to purpose over reproduction. This we share." After the meal, Kalara led Hayes to a chamber filled with objects that appeared to be art. "We collect cultural artifacts from all species we encounter. Would you explain human art to me?" Hayes examined the collection, earth paintings, sculptures, even comic books and action figures. She laughed at the random assortment. "These things represent different aspects of human creativity, but art means different things to different humans." "It's very subjective." Kalara seemed troubled by this concept. "On Zarthia, art serves clear purposes. To record history, to honor ancestors, to teach youth. Your art seems without unified purpose." Hayes picked up a small sculpture of a dancer. "Art helps us process emotions, explore possibilities, imagine different worlds. It's not always practical, but it helps us understand ourselves." The alien woman studied Hayes with all 4 eyes. "Your explanation adds context to our observations. Tell me more about human emotions." The question sparked a long discussion. Hayes explained: love, fear, hope, grief, jealousy. Kalara listened intently, occasionally asking for clarification. Zarthians experienced emotions too, but differently. Their lifespans changed their perspective. Death did not frighten them as much. Love was less urgent, more patient. Ambition was collective rather than individual. Days began to follow a pattern: morning tours, afternoon discussions, evening meals. Each day Hayes learned more about Zarthian culture while explaining humanity. Kalara was particularly interested in human resilience, asking many questions about how humans overcame disasters, persevered through hardship. "Do all humans possess this trait?" Kalara asked one evening. "Most do," Hayes replied. "When necessary, we find strength we didn't know we had. This quality fascinates my people." The alien admitted, "Your lives are brief, your bodies fragile. Yet you accomplish much against great odds." Hayes smiled. "Is that why you're considering an alliance with us?" "Our determination." "Perhaps," Kalara said. "But there is more we seek to understand." Hayes' daily communications with Earth continued. Admiral Morgan always appeared concerned, always suspicious. General Kim joined, sometimes asking pointed questions about Zarthian weapons and defenses. Hayes shared what she learned but avoided sensitive details. She was beginning to feel caught between worlds. On the 10th day, Kalara arrived with news. "Today, we visit the observation deck. You will see Earth as few humans have." They rode a gravity lift to the highest point of the ship. A transparent dome revealed space in all its glory. Earth hung below them. A blue marble wrapped in swirling white clouds. "It looks so small from here," Hayes whispered. "Yet your kind dreams so big." Kalara replied, "You achieved space travel, despite your short lives and endless conflicts. My people watch humans with fascination. Your determination defies logic." Hayes smiled. "That might be the nicest thing anyone has said about humanity." The alien woman studied her curiously. "I chose you specifically, Commander. Not merely for your rank. Why then? Because you were the only one who looked at me without fear or disgust. You saw a person, not a monster. I need an honest perspective on humanity, not one clouded by prejudice." Hayes felt something shift between them. A mutual respect, perhaps even the beginning of friendship. Would Kalara consider that possible between such different beings? They stood watching Earth turn slowly below them. Hayes realized she was seeing her home as the Zarthians saw it. Beautiful, vulnerable, full of potential, yet also dangerous, unpredictable. The fate of that blue marble might depend on the connection she was forming with this alien woman. Will other humans visit your ship? Hayes asked. Kalara considered this. If our alliance progresses, yes, more cultural exchange will be necessary, but you are the first test. The success of your stay determines what follows. No pressure. Then Hayes said with a smile. Kalara tilted her head, not understanding the humor. Pressure is constant in diplomatic relations, Commander. But I believe you are performing admirably. The Council is impressed with your adaptability. Coming from a Zarthian, Hayes realized this was high praise. Thank you. I find your people fascinating too. They stood in silence watching the stars. Hayes wondered what the next 20 days would bring and how this experience would change her. Would she ever see her home the same way again after seeing it from this perspective? Would humanity ever be the same after truly knowing they were not alone? By the 15th day, Hayes had settled into a routine. She jogged through the designated corridors each morning, maintaining her physical fitness. Zarthian gravity was slightly lower than Earth's, making exercise easier. She ate breakfast alone, then met Kalara for the day's activities. The alien woman had begun introducing her to other high-ranking Zarthians council member. Tara was responsible for scientific research. She questioned Hayes endlessly about human medicine technology and scientific methods. Your species progresses quickly despite limitations, Tara noted. Your brains are smaller, your lives shorter, yet you make intuitive leaps. My people rarely achieve. Hayes had learned enough about Zarthian culture to recognize this as a compliment. Human scientists often make discoveries through accidents or by testing unlikely theories, she explained. We call it thinking outside the box. This box thinking intrigues me. Tira said, I would like to study human creativity further. Another day, Hayes met with Defense Coordinator Mira, who studied human military history with intense focus. Your species fights constantly against itself, she observed. Yet these conflicts drive innovation. Hayes nodded sadly. True. Many of our technological advances came from warfare, but we're trying to change that, focus our energy on exploration instead of destruction. Mira seemed skeptical. Can a species change its nature so fundamentally? I believe we can. Hayes replied, we have to. Each evening Hayes recorded her observations in a private journal. Kalara had assured her these notes would remain confidential. She wrote honestly about her impressions, the potential benefits of alliance, the differences between human and Zarthian thinking. She also noted her growing friendship with Kalara. Though they were different species from vastly different worlds, they had found common ground. On the 16th day, Kalara brought news. A Zarthian delegation will visit Earth next week. They will meet with your United Earth Council to discuss preliminary trade terms. Hayes felt a surge of excitement. This is happening faster than I expected. Kalara nodded. Your presence here has accelerated the process. The Council is impressed with human adaptability and wishes to proceed before other galactic powers approach Earth. Other powers, Hayes asked. There are more alien civilizations interested in us. Several, the alien confirmed. Your solar system sits at a valuable junction point for space lanes. Your planet has resources and your species has potential as allies. You did not think you were alone in the galaxy, did you? Hayes laughed. No, but it's different hearing it confirmed. Do these other civilizations pose a threat? Some would seek to dominate rather than ally. Kalara admitted Zarthians prefer cooperation. But not all species share this philosophy. Later that day, during her scheduled communication, Admiral Morgan appeared with General Kim and several other officials. Hayes, they said, we've detected multiple new alien ships approaching Earth orbit. The Zarthians claim they're a diplomatic delegation. Is this true? Yes. Hayes confirmed. Kalara informed me today. It's a positive development. Morgan looked unconvinced. We're monitoring closely. Any sign of hostile intent and well-launched defensive measures. Hayes felt alarm surge through her. Admiral, that would be a terrible mistake. These ships are peaceful. Remember, Zarthian technology far exceeds ours. Perceived aggression could destroy everything. We've worked for. Kim leaned forward. Commander, are you speaking as an Earth representative or have you become sympathetic to alien interests? The accusation stung. Hayes remained professional. Both interests align here, General. Trust me, this delegation means progress toward beneficial alliance. After the call ended, Hayes paced her quarters, troubled by the exchange. She had seen Earth's military capabilities, knew they were no match for Zarthian weapons, yet human instinct always seemed to lean toward suspicion and defense. How could she bridge this gap, ensure peaceful first contact when her own people might sabotage it through fear? Kalara arrived, sensing her distress. Your communication did not go well. Hayes sighed. My superiors are concerned about the delegation. They don't trust your intentions. The alien considered this fear of the unknown as natural. Do your leaders fear loss of power, perhaps? Hayes hadn't considered this angle. Some might, yes. Control, competition status all factor into human politics. Kalara moved to the window, looking toward Earth. Politics complicate all species relations. It seems we face similar challenges among our own worlds. This surprised Hayes. I thought Zarthian society was unified, in broad purpose. Yes, Kalara explained, but methods, priorities, resources, these create friction. Even now some factions question alliance with humans. They see you as primitive, unpredictable. What do you see? Hayes asked, meeting the alien's gaze. I see potential. Kalara replied simply. You personally have shown remarkable openness, adaptability, intelligence. These qualities suggest humanity, despite its flaws, may become valuable allies. The next day, Kalara took Hayes to a section of the ship she hadn't visited before. The room they entered contained what appeared to be simulation technology. This is our cultural immersion chamber, the alien explained. It allows limited experience of other worlds. Would you like to see? Zarthia. Hayes nodded eagerly. Kalara activated the system. The room disappeared, replaced by an alien landscape. Twin suns hung in a greenish sky. Mountains with strange angular formations stretched toward the horizon. Plant life in shades of purple and blue swayed in a gentle breeze. The gravity felt heavier. The air carried sweet, unfamiliar scents. Hayes turned slowly, taking it all in. It's beautiful, she whispered. This is my home province, Kalara said. The simulation includes sensory components, though limited for human safety. They walked through the virtual landscape, Kalara pointing out features of Zarthian geography and ecology. She explained how their society had evolved from tribal groups into a global civilization, how they had developed space travel 5,000 Earth years ago, how their expansion had been deliberate, careful, respectful of other life forms. The simulation shifted, showing a Zarthian city building spiraled upward like massive shells connected by transparent tubes. Transportation pods moved silently through these connections. Zarthians of various sizes went about their business. Below, the city farms extended in geometric patterns. We balance technology with nature, Kalara explained. Our cities are designed to minimize impact while maximizing efficiency. Hayes noticed something else. All the Zarthians she saw wore symbols, markings that seemed to indicate their roles. These are social designations. Yes, Kalara confirmed. From birth, our abilities are assessed. We are educated accordingly, assigned to roles that benefit society, while maintaining individual choice within categories. It sounds like a caste system, Hayes said carefully. Kalara seemed surprised by the term. We prefer functional optimization. All roles are valued equally. Assignments can change if abilities or preferences evolve. The simulation ended, returning them to the ship. Hayes' mind buzzed with new information. Zarthian society was both familiar and alien. Organized, efficient, collective, yet allowing for individual contribution. Their approach to social structure was neither democracy nor dictatorship, but something different. Something Earth might learn from. That evening over dinner, Hayes asked the question that had been growing in her mind. Why does Zarthia truly want alliance with Earth? We have little to offer you technologically. Your civilization is thousands of years ahead of ours. Kalara set down her eating utensil. Species diversity strengthens the galactic community. Isolation breeds stagnation. Humans offer new perspectives, approaches, problem-solving methods. Your art, your music, your literature all have value, and your planet contains biological diversity. Minerals, compounds not found elsewhere. Hayes sensed there was more. Something you aren't saying. Kalara hesitated, then spoke. Your species adapts quickly, evolves rapidly, creates unpredictably. These traits are rare, valuable. Some among my people believe human creativity paired with Zarthian stability could solve challenges neither could alone, such as Hayes prompted. The greatest challenge? Kalara said the Void Eaters. Hayes frowned. What are Void Eaters? Kalara stood abruptly. Not tonight. Commander, this topic requires proper context preparation. We will discuss it when you are ready. Hayes wanted to press for answers, but recognized the alien's tone. The conversation was over for now. She would need to be patient, but she had learned something crucial. Zarthians feared something in the galaxy, something they believed humans might help them fight. And suddenly her mission felt even more important than before. The 20th day began with an unexpected change to routine. Kalara arrived earlier than usual. Commander Hayes, the Council requests your presence. Hayes quickly dressed, wondering what prompted this formal summons. Is everything all right? Information has arrived requiring discussion. Kalara seemed tense, her usual composure slightly fractured. They walked briskly through the ship to a section Hayes had not visited. The council chamber was a large circular room with tiered seating. 7 elder Zarthians sat in a semicircle, their violet skin darker with age, their 4 eyes showing amber flecks of experience. Behind them, various displays showed star maps, data streams, and surveillance of Earth. Please be seated. Commander Kalara gestured to a chair, positioned before the council. High Elder Vestra spoke first, her voice deeper than Kalara's. Commander Hayes, we have monitored communications from your planet. Certain human factions express hostility toward our delegation. Human military vessels have changed position. Some weapons platforms appear to have been activated. These actions concern us. Hayes felt her stomach tighten. This is likely precautionary, not aggressive. I can communicate with my superior's request. Stand down. Second Elder Mora leaned forward. Your military-industrial complex shows signs of mobilization. Your media outlets spread fear. Some of your leaders speak of alien threat, defensive measures, first strikes. These patterns match historical human behavior before conflict. Hayes recognized the dangerous situation. Developing Earth forces were reacting to the unknown with military preparation. The Zarthians were interpreting these moves through the lens of human history. They had been watching Earth long enough to recognize the signs of impending conflict. I request immediate communication with Admiral Morgan. Hayes said, I can explain the situation. Prevent misunderstanding. Kalara nodded to an aide. A communication screen activated. Morgan appeared looking surprised. Commander, we expected your call at the usual time, Admiral Hayes said, keeping her voice steady. The Zarthian Council has observed our military movements. They interpret them as potentially hostile. I need to understand what is happening. Morgan's expression hardened. We're taking reasonable precautions. Several nations have expressed concern about the increasing alien presence. Multiple ships approaching Earth orbit with unknown capabilities. The public demands protection. Hayes chose her words carefully. Admiral, I have been aboard this ship for 20 days. The Zarthians have shown no aggression, only interest in peaceful exchange. Their delegation comes to discuss trade, beneficial technology sharing, but they are also powerful. If they perceive human military action as threatening, they could respond defensively. That would end badly for Earth. Morgan seemed to consider this. What do you suggest? Stand down offensive systems, Hayes said. Return to normal alert status. Show good faith. I give you my word, based on everything I've seen, that the Zarthian intentions are peaceful. Kalara stepped into view, addressing Morgan directly. Admiral Morgan, Zarthians understand caution. We too exercise it. But true diplomacy requires trust. Steps toward mutual vulnerability. We have shared our technology, our culture with Commander Hayes. We have allowed her free movement communication. We now ask similar trust from Earth. Morgan looked surprised to be addressed directly by the alien. Very well, Commander Hayes has earned our respect. We will recommend standing down, but we maintain vigilance. This is new territory for humanity. The call ended. The council members exchanged glances, speaking in their native language, which Hayes' translator did not interpret. Finally, hi. Elder Vestra addressed her again. Commander, we appreciate your intervention. We wish no conflict with humans, only beneficial exchange. But history teaches caution. Hayes nodded, understanding. We humans have the same concern. My people have never encountered advanced alien life before. Fear of the unknown drives much of our behavior. Third Elder Krell, a smaller Zarthian with paler skin, spoke. Tell us, Commander, in your assessment, are humans ready for galactic community? Are they mature enough for advanced technology alliance with species unlike themselves? Hayes considered, carefully giving an honest answer. Humans are complicated. We can be violent, territorial, fearful, but also compassionate, innovative, adaptable. We learn quickly sometimes from our mistakes. We are young as a unified species still growing. Our potential is enormous if guided correctly, and if not guided, asked Krell, then we might repeat our historical patterns. Hayes admitted, conflict, competition, destruction, but I believe we're at a turning point, ready to evolve beyond these patterns. The right alliance could help us mature faster. The council deliberated again in their language. Finally, Vestra spoke. We will proceed with the delegation as planned. Commander Hayes, you will accompany Kalara to Earth tomorrow as liaison. Your presence may ease tensions, facilitate understanding. Hayes felt relief mixed with excitement. Yes, High Elder. I am honored to serve this role. That evening, Kalara visited Hayes' quarters bringing what appeared to be ceremonial clothing. Tomorrow you return to Earth temporarily. The delegation will meet with your United Earth Council. These garments mark you as cultural liaison, respected by both species. Hayes examined the outfit. It resembled her military uniform but incorporated Zarthian design elements, symbols of both worlds. The fabric seemed to shimmer slightly, changing colors with movement. Before tomorrow, there is something you should know, Kalara said, her tone serious. Earlier you asked about Void Eaters. I promised explanation when you were ready. Now you must understand what threatens all sentient life. Hayes sat down, sensing the gravity of the conversation. Void Eaters are not a species. Kalara began. They are a phenomenon, a cosmic force that consumes stars, planets' life. They leave nothing behind, exist beyond normal space, yet periodically emerge to feed. They have destroyed 17 known civilizations in the past millennium. Hayes felt a chill. Are they approaching our galaxy? They are already here. Kalara activated a small projector showing star systems. Some appeared dead black voids where stars once shone. These systems were lost within the past century. The phenomenon spreads slowly but accelerates with each consumption. Why? Tell me this now, Hayes asked, because this threat is why alliance matters. Kalara explained Zarthians have technology to detect Void Eaters, predict their movements. But despite our advancement, we cannot stop them. No single species can. Galactic cooperation is necessary for survival, and humans can help. How exactly? Your species thinks differently, Kalara said. Your scientists make intuitive leaps. Zarthians would never consider. You approach problems from unique angles. Your military, despite its primitive technology, has strategic concepts our warriors find innovative. Combined, perhaps we find solution where neither could alone. Hayes processed this information, so the alliance isn't just about trade or cultural exchange. It's about survival. Combined survival. Yes, Kalara confirmed. This information is not widely shared even among my people. Earth would panic if told too soon. But you, Commander Hayes, needed to understand the true stakes. The Council believes you can help prepare your people gradually. Hayes stood moving to the window, looking at distant stars. It changes everything, she whispered. Does it? Kalara asked. Or does it simply add urgency to what was already important? Perhaps both, Hayes admitted. Either way, it'll help. However I can, Kalara placed a hand on Hayes' shoulder. A rare physical contact between them, I believed you would. That is why I chose you. The next morning, Hayes prepared for return to Earth, packing her few belongings. She had changed in these 20 days. Her perspective expanded, beyond national interests, beyond even planetary concerns. She now thought in terms of species survival, galactic community, and she carried knowledge most humans did not yet have. Could not yet handle. Kalara arrived to escort her to the shuttle. You seem troubled. Commander Hayes nodded. How do I explain everything I've learned? How do I convince people who haven't seen what I've seen you don't? Kalara said simply, not immediately. Change comes gradually. First trade technology, sharing cultural exchange, trust builds slowly. Then when foundations exist, harder truths can be shared. The shuttle trip to Earth felt quicker than the journey away. Hayes watched her home planet grow larger, blue and beautiful, vulnerable yet full of potential. She thought, of all the humans below living their lives unaware of Void Eaters, galactic politics, the true scale of existence, would knowledge change them as it had changed? Her Kalara observed her silence. Returning to Earth affects you deeply. Hayes nodded. Everything looks different now. I see my world as just one world among many. I see my species as young, developing, not superior or central, just one thread in a larger tapestry. That perspective, Kalara said, is precisely why Alliance may succeed. And why you, Commander, Hayes, are essential to that process. The shuttle entered atmosphere, descending toward United Earth headquarters, the same landing pad where Hayes had departed 20 days earlier. Now crowds larger than before waited. Officials, media, ordinary citizens, all gathered to witness the arrival of the Zarthian delegation. Kalara gestured to the window. Your people appear curious rather than hostile. Progress, perhaps, Hayes smiled. Indeed, curiosity is humanity's better nature. Maybe we'll surprise you yet. Shuttle touched down. Hayes straightened her new uniform, checked her appearance in a reflection. She would step out first, familiar human face before the alien delegation, a bridge between worlds. That was her role now, her purpose, something far greater than she had imagined when accepting this mission. The Zarthian delegation caused a sensation on Earth news channels, broadcast continuous coverage. Crowds gathered behind barriers trying to glimpse the tall violet aliens. Social media exploded with theories, speculation, and memes. Kalara found the human reaction fascinating, watching selected broadcasts with Hayes. Your species processes the unknown through humor, she observed. This is unexpected. Hayes smiled. It's a coping mechanism. When faced with something overwhelming, we often joke about it. It helps reduce fear. The official meetings began in the United Earth Council chamber. Admiral Morgan, General Kim, and representatives from major nations sat across from Kalara and 3 other Zarthians, Hayes positioned between both groups, serving as intermediary. Kalara spoke first, addressing the human delegates. My people extend formal greeting to Earth. We seek mutually beneficial alliance, exchange of knowledge, resources, and protection. Morgan replied cautiously. We appreciate your interest in Earth, but understanding your true intentions, capabilities, and what you expect from us is essential. The discussions continued for hours. Humans asked pointed questions about Zarthian technology, military capabilities, territorial interests. Kalara answered with diplomatic skill. Neither side fully trusted the other. Hayes realized both held back information, both sought advantage. Yet progress occurred slowly. During a break, Hayes found Morgan alone. Admiral, the Zarthians are being genuine. Their technology could transform human life. Their medicine alone could extend lifespans decades. Morgan studied her. You seem convinced, Hayes. Are you still representing Earth interests here? Hayes met her gaze steadily. I'm representing humanity's future, Admiral. That's bigger than any national or even planetary politics right now. The Admiral frowned. You've changed, Hayes nodded. Seeing myself through Kalara's eyes taught me things about humanity, both good and bad. We need this alliance more than they do, but they won't wait forever. When meetings resumed, Hayes noticed a shift. The human delegates seemed more receptive, Kalara more forthcoming. By day's end, preliminary agreements had formed. Technology sharing would begin with medical advances, environmental, restoration and clean energy. Zarthians would receive access to Earth cultural archives, biological samples, and limited resources. Most importantly, a permanent embassy would be established. Both Zarthian representatives on Earth and human representatives on Zarthian ships. Hayes would head the human diplomatic team. That evening, a formal reception welcomed the delegation. Hayes wore her hybrid uniform, standing with Kalara as Earth officials approached one by one, making introductions. Many seemed uncomfortable. With the alien's towering presence, sharp teeth, 4 eyes. Yet curiosity overcame fear. Conversation flowed awkwardly at first, then more naturally. Hayes' sister Penny arrived, looking nervous but determined. "Lisa, I had to see you to make sure you were okay." Hayes hugged her. "And more than okay. This is Ambassador Kalara. She took good care of me." Penny stared up at the alien, trying to hide her shock. "Hello, Ambassador. Thank you for not eating my sister." Kalara tilted her head, seeming confused. "Human digestive systems are incompatible with Zarthian nutritional needs. Your sister was never considered food." Hayes laughed while Penny blushed. "It's a joke, Ambassador. Humans often joke about things that frighten them." Kalara considered this fascinating, perhaps. "Humor is another adaptive trait I should study further." Later, Hayes found herself speaking with Professor Linda Grant, the renowned xenobiologist commander. What was it like living among them, learning their ways? Hayes considered how to answer. It was humbling. "Professor, they have technology we can barely comprehend, medicine that seems like magic. Yet in some ways they're still figuring things out just like us. Their social structure, their art, their beliefs, all evolved from their unique history, just as ours did." Grant seemed disappointed. "You make them sound almost ordinary." "Not ordinary," Hayes corrected. "Different but understandable. Their bodies evolved for different environments, their society developed different solutions. But the fundamentals, sentience, curiosity, fear, hope, love, those seem universal, and that's what matters for alliance." The next day brought more meetings, more progress. The Zarthian medical team demonstrated cellular regeneration technology, healing a patient's, supposedly, permanent spinal injury in minutes. Earth scientists watched in amazement. Human engineers shared unique approaches to problems Zarthians had solved differently. Both sides recognized value in different perspectives. Hayes found Kalara observing Earth artwork in a gallery section of the diplomatic complex. The alien studied each piece carefully, pausing longest before abstract expressionist paintings. "You seem interested in this style." Hayes noted. Kalara nodded. "These works capture emotion without literal representation. This parallels Zarthian consciousness art, yet emerges from completely different evolution. Your species creates connection through difference. This ability may prove vital." Hayes was about to ask what she meant when alarms blared throughout the complex. Security protocols activated, doors sealed. Guards appeared. Kalara was immediately surrounded by both Zarthian and human security personnel. "What is happening?" the alien demanded. Admiral Morgan approached quickly. "Ambassador, we have detected unauthorized ships entering Earth orbit. They match no known configuration. Their energy signatures are massive." Hayes felt cold fear. "Kalara have void. Eaters arrived." The alien stiffened. "No, but another threat perhaps. Show me these ships." They moved to the command center. Screens displayed strange curved vessels unlike Zarthian design. 5 ships had taken position above major cities. Kalara studied the images, her 4 eyes narrowing. "These are Drakari vessels." "Who are the Drakari?" Hayes asked rivals. Kalara explained. "They oppose Zarthian expansion, believe themselves superior. They must have followed our delegation." A communication signal flashed on screen. A being appeared, reptilian with gleaming scales and vertical pupils. "Commander, they are hailing us," Morgan said. Accept, Kalara ordered. We must know their purpose. The screen activated. A Drakari commander appeared. His voice translated into harsh metallic English. People of Earth, we come to warn you. Zarthians deceive you. They seek, not alliance, but conquest. They have done this before, seduced primitive species with technology, then enslaved them. We offer protection. Truth alliance with the Drakari Imperium instead. Hayes looked at Kalara. Is this true? The Zarthian seemed genuinely angry. Lies. Commander. The Drakari themselves conquer through deception. They claim protection while planning subjugation. Morgan turned to Hayes. Commander, what do you recommend? You know the Zarthians better than anyone. Hayes thought quickly, analyzing what she knew of both species, remembered Kalara's honesty. The Void Eater threat, the careful diplomatic approach. The Drakari arrival seemed calculated, opportunistic. Admiral, I believe the Zarthians. I recommend maintaining our current alliance. Rejecting Drakari interference. Morgan nodded. We need to respond. Let me speak to them, Hayes suggested. The Admiral hesitated, then agreed. Hayes stepped forward, facing the screen. I am Commander Lisa Hayes, Earth Diplomatic Liaison. I have lived among Zarthians, studied their culture. Their actions demonstrate peaceful intent. Your unannounced arrival, threatening posture, suggests different motives. Earth recognizes the Zarthian delegation as our official contact. We request you withdraw from Earth orbit. The Drakari commander hissed. You choose poorly, human. This decision will cost your species dearly. The transmission cut. The Drakari ships remained in orbit. Kalara turned to Morgan. Your defensive systems activated earlier. Cannot you use them now? The Admiral shook her head. Our weapons would barely scratch their hulls. According to our scans, and firing might provoke attack. Then we must act. Kalara activated her communication device, speaking rapidly in Zarthian language. Within minutes, the Zarthian mothership moved, positioning itself between Earth and the Drakari vessels. All of you should move to secure locations, Kalara said calmly. Drakari may attempt surface strikes to disrupt alliance. Hayes, Morgan, and others relocated to the underground command center. Screens showed the situation unfolding above. Energy readings spiked as Drakari ships powered weapons. Zarthian vessels deployed defensive shields. The next hours passed in tense waiting. Occasional flashes lit the sky. Energy discharges, communications jamming. No direct attacks occurred yet. Tension grew. Earth military forces worldwide went on high alert. The Zarthian delegation remained in constant contact with their fleet. Hayes found Kalara alone, monitoring communications. Ambassador, what happens? Now the alien turned. Your world faces its first interstellar conflict decision. Drakari wait for your response, hoping fear divides you. They believe humans will reject Zarthian protection. Choose what seems safer. Neutrality. And if we do? Hayes asked. Then, Drakari returned later with greater force. Kalara said their pattern is consistent. They isolate developing worlds, prevent alliances, then conquer. Hayes understood the stakes. Earth stood at a crossroads. Alignment with Zarthia meant potential conflict. Now, but protection, growth, rejection meant temporary peace followed by eventual subjugation. We need to address Earth leaders directly, she said. All of them together. Kalara agreed. Within hours, an emergency global broadcast connected leaders from every nation. Hayes stood beside Kalara, addressing billions people of Earth. She began. Today we face our first test as a unified world. Two advanced civilizations seek relationship with us. The Zarthians approached openly, diplomatically, offering exchange. The Drakari arrived with ships positioned over our cities, threatening consequences if we refuse them. The choice before us is clear.